Hi, seventh grade. Today we're going to be talking about readers identifying the use of narrative structure within a text. So we've talked about narratives before. You wrote a narrative last year. So this should be review. Before we go into some of today's key points, I want you to think about this. What do we think of when we hear the word story? Is a story always fictional? Some key points that we want to go over today. Narratives tell a story and are usually meant to entertain or teach a lesson. Narratives can be fiction or made up. They can also be nonfiction. They could be true stories. So for some of you, that may be a little confusing because sometimes you feel like something should either be fiction or nonfiction, but a narrative, for instance, we've read lots of narrative nonfiction pieces. It even has the word narrative within it. But a narrative could also be something like the story of Cinderella or the Three Little Pigs. Obviously, those are fictional, they're made up. So as I was just explaining this last point, narratives can fall into many different genres or categories. Narratives contain all the story elements we've discussed this year, and you've had these terms probably since first grade, kindergarten even. Plot, these are all the events that happen within the story. A lot of times we've talked about the different events, the different vocabulary terms that go along with plot. We have the exposition, the rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. Characters, those are the who, the people, the characters. They could be animals, they could be people in our story. Setting involves time. A lot of times students forget time and place. Conflicts, the problems the characters face. Sometimes these can just be simple internal conflicts. It could be maybe just something as simple as a character learning something about themselves. So it doesn't always have to be this huge problem when we talk about conflict. Theme, a lesson that can be learned from the story, and point of view, who is telling the story. Today you're going to listen to a narrative read aloud called 11. There is a link for you to listen as well as a full PDF link for you to follow along as well. So I hope you enjoy today's story.